Who do you think you are? King of the trailer or something? Look at him, sitting up there like it's his mountaintop or something. Hey, get the ball. Get the ball. He's still wondering about all the neighboring animals, like the horses right over there. He wants to go chase them. Come on. There. So the wife and I were able to get to the storage units yesterday and combine 3 units down into 2. One unit, the very first unit we had gotten, had just had 3 great big crates in it, and they were on casters. They were like 4 feet by 4 feet by maybe 24 inches high. But they were all really heavy. Had a lot of bench vices and bench grinder, a lot of heavy stuff. One is just full of tractor parts, so we were able to get the 3 units down to 2. And then all the crates we opened up, because I couldn't remember what was in them and I didn't label the crates. So back in the Suburban there, and in the center of the Suburban is a lot of stuff we pulled out of one of the crates. Miller's Falls bench grinder. They have the eye shields, the lighted eye shields and everything. I just don't use them on there. Oh, vise for the mill. Some lathe boards. A Trojan bench vise. This is a Parker vise. This is, I believe, my largest bench vise, and it's the one I do use the most. So you just get it out of here. I think I'll just take the whole box. Somehow. Stuffed in the center is a lot of contractor power tools. On this side, a couple of bench grinders. Should see a couple more bench grinders. One's badged to Skill, one's badged to Stanley. They're probably both were made by the same company. I used to know what that company was. I don't recall anymore. Clamp set for the mill. That's it. We screwed these 2x4s on there as curbs for the large crate so they didn't roll off the side of the trailer. Because either one of the three crates easily outweighed both my wife and I together. I'm finally graduating from Phillips bits to Torx bits. So I still have some Phillips. I'm liking the Torx bits. They're far superior to the Phillips bits. You have to have them on quite exactly the right angle when you go to back a screw out. I've had two spares matching wheels, but I lost one on one trip, and another trip I blew a tire and it wrecked the wheel too. So I have these two white wheels because I needed spares and I didn't want to go any farther. I had a heavy load on at the time, so I got the same type of wheel but a white wheel, and then the other one is instead of round holes, they're triangular shaped holes. They're spares, doesn't matter to me. That looks like a good out of the way place for that while it's not being used. So it looks like the ponds are back and the creek is flowing good over there. That's where the small pond was. This is where the bigger pond was. And the water's flowing pretty good over there. So because that's dammed up in there, a bunch of crap, a bunch of tree stuff, the water is flowing around it. Over the ground over there. Both the internet and the power, the electric comes down this pole, goes underground, and then the electric heads off this way. It's marked in red. You can see we're about to go by the barn here. Look at the red marks. Goes underneath the drive here. And he says about 18 to 24 inches down, I think he said the electric was. There's another mark. The electric comes across what we think is the septic field. So the electric is red. It crosses the internet, which is in orange. And that's right off the side of the garage here. That's the internet box. And then the electric goes around the corner of the house and starts to hug the patio here pretty tight. It's just about 3-4 feet out. And it heads right over towards the meter there on a pole. And the septic is way over there. It's probably 50, 60 feet away from the electric. The tank is under there where the round cap is on top of. And it comes out here. This is the other edge of the tank. And we still have to dig this up. I have a friend coming with a backhoe to help me. And we think the septic line comes over here. Runs down behind the house, we suspect. So outside the electric, there's the electric way over there. We think the septic line is in the shallow area here. Then we think that line hits some distribution boxes along here. And then the septic field, we believe, is over here next to the barn, in between the garage and the barn. That's where we're starting to garden, on top of the septic field, actually. Vegetable plants. Roots aren't that deep, so that's it. The water company has not been out yet. So this is Wednesday, the first full day after I called 811. I haven't seen any sign of the water company. They haven't put any marks or flags in the front yard where I know the buffalo box, the water valve is. No markings yet. Still snowing.
All right. See, on there is a roof rake. Grandpa is scraping the roof. Brings it down. He has to go a little higher because I was trying to record earlier and it wasn't. So, all right, there you go, Cian. We love you. Bye.
Let's see if I can knock the tail light out. Let's not see if we can knock the tail light out. Okay, so a little less wind now, so I can talk. But this is the boundary between me and my neighbors where that cable is going across the creek there. You can see it's tied to that bunch of trees in the bottom right of the screen there. And then there's a T-post in the water. And then it runs over there. The older guy here, he boards a couple of horses there. And I talked to him today about taking out a lot of debris in the creek upstream there on his property because it's making it overflow onto my property. My property hooks around. I'll move the camera for you here. My property hooks around his property in the back here, so my property goes that way. It's in a L shape. It's forcing the water out of the creek, and it's flooding my property over here and then jumping back in the creek or flowing back in the creek right here. So I went over to his house this morning to talk to him about me going on his property to bust that up, get the water flowing in its original course here. And he gave me a couple of reasons why he wasn't going to give me the okay to do that today. One being, he says that the beavers in there, and the beavers built the dam. It looks like kind of a loose dam. There's actually another one upstream a little bit more. It seems to me there's just about a lot of stuff that's collected from flowing downstream. I could be wrong, I'm no beaver expert. But so that was one reason, and the other one was his wife. He didn't think his wife would want that taken out of there. So maybe they're hoping to gain more land out of it, and you know, the creek gets diverted onto my property more. I don't think that's a motivation for them, but I don't really know them that well yet. We've only been here a few months. I'm just going to gather up those smaller pieces that are piled there in my tools, whatever other sizable pieces are laying around there. I'm not going to take down any trees today. This tree that's standing has to come down yet. It's all eaten by a beaver in the past. This is old beaver chewings here. From what I can tell, they look, you know, a few years old anyway. So I don't think there's a beaver in here, but I haven't seen one. My dog hasn't seen one. My wife hasn't seen one. None of the other neighbors have seen one. So I want to get this all bush hogged here, this property to the left. I'll spin the camera around. All that over there I want to get bush hogged. But it is just full of little locust trees that have great big thorns on them, and the guy doing the bush hogging doesn't want to get any flat tires. Can't say as I blame him, but the land, L-shaped land, goes all the way over here, so he's got all this to bush hog. Over here to the left, where you see that fuzzy kind of weeds, there's less locust trees over there. But over here to the right, where it's getting flooded, there's a lot of little locust trees in there. My wife and I were out here for about an hour one day, sawing off these little locust trees. And as some of you have heard me say before, I have some past arm issues that still affect me today. It'll be 11 years this July. But that little bit of sawing for about an hour, some little trees off, that put me down for 3 days. And then the holidays were pretty rough for me. Thanksgiving, we had family visit, and yeah, I wasn't doing too good with my arms. And then Christmas, we drove up there 600 miles to see them, and yeah, I could barely open my Christmas gifts. So that went on for a month and a half. So I'm just starting to get back to it now. That's why I'm getting a video together here. This one will be kind of long because I'm tacking it on to a previous one I did before I started having the arm issues that really put me down again. So that's what we're working on, clearing up the land a little bit so I can get those locust trees, those saplings cut down, and the guy can get in there with his tractor and not get stuck because it's all soggy wet from the creek overflowing over there. So I want to get this land more usable down here. For what exactly, we don't know. We're still up in the air with that. We'd like to do some type of areas to attract deer and other wildlife. We just don't want it to be a swamp to do it. So more bedding areas and food plots, things like that. We're in town, so we can't hunt the property, but we can observe. That's what we like to do, and we'll probably, do hunting on some other land. I'll get this wood thrown on here, get it on a fire pit, and maybe get a fire going tonight before it rains. We have some rain moving in. I don't know what the timing is on that yet. I haven't checked it lately. These little branches to burn the big branches. I'll bring them up. Huh? Thank you. Up. Wait. 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 Oh, wait. Sandy stuff down here. Yep. That last car hit the dirt. You guys saw me held on my side when I was down by the creek moving some rocks and pulling stuff out of the water. We had do some emergency septic investigation and repairs. I was laying on the ground, reaching down in a hole with a little gardening trowel or planter, and I messed up my ribs somehow. I recovered from it, and then when I started doing that over there by the creek, it evidently is not fully healed. So we were checking out to find a chiropractor in the area. We go to chiropractors pretty regularly. This seems to help us out a lot. Magnum, come. So I think we finally found one. I think I'll give him a call. I'm gonna get this lit up. It is about, let's see, I'm 6'4". It's about 6 feet high. Some of it's wet because it was laying in the creek, so gotta have a good hot fire for that. We burn a lot of our cardboard and paper trash. So I'll get the burb pulled out of the way in the trailer and we'll get it lit up. It's kind of windy, but it's there's some rain moving in, so hope it'll mostly get burned down before the rain comes. And the rain can go ahead and put out the last little logs if it wants to. Nope. Down. Up. The first time I lit a fire and it already started to sink down. Just because there was such a big box on the bottom of the pile there. The wind, of course, is to the left in the camera screen there. The wind is to the left. The smoke's going to the right, obviously. So you always try to light a fire upwind side, which would be to the left in this case. Keep it moving. Magnum, where are you going? Comes my wifey poo. Thinks she's got lunch for me. The hotter side is on the other side, so I'll take you over there. Hey, Magnum. Say hi. Hey. He's camera shy. I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's been down for a while. Like I said, beavers took it down, I don't know, long before we got here. So they were pretty light. pretty dried out, except for the ones that were laying on the ground or in the water, of course. I thought about piling them up to make like a little attractant for wildlife here in this moat area where there used to be a big pond, but the wood is just so soft I think it would probably turn to mush pretty quickly. These are burning. Getting a nice hot spot in there. The wind is shifting off and on. I have a had some little stuff branches wise and the bigger logs. Some of those bigger logs were wet. Some of those little ones were totally waterlogged, and I pulled them from the bottom of the creek. They sank. That's how wet they were. It tells you how porous the wood was, that it would soak up that much water and then sink. Well, there's not a lot of medium-sized stuff to burn. The bigger pieces, so I got to keep throwing the smaller stuff back in there to keep it hot enough to burn up the big one. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but it's sizzling because of the wet ones that are in there. Not green wet, I mean wet from either being partially in the water or laying on the wet ground. Wet ground that had gotten flooded because of the dammed up creek over there, all the debris that's in it, making it flood. Tell by all the white on the logs to the left, that's was the hot spot, or maybe still is, because the wind was just blowing now in the camera from the right to the left. In addition to throwing the ends in as the logs burn off, I'm going to have to take a lot of the logs on the right side, the upwind side, and throw them onto the hot part of the fire. The wind's been shifting here and there, but it's mostly been from the right to the left, out of the west. I'll bring you back when it burns down some more. Supposed to get rain anytime, 60% chance. But my wife says doesn't look like much on the radar. Got a lot of flame now in there. Somebody really doesn't give a hoot about it. What's the matter? You don't like fires? I made them. You don't like fires? He likes fires. He'd just rather be chasing something. Where's your ball? Go get your ball. You can see that one log with the cut end, the biggest cut end facing the camera. It's just oozing water out of that end. Even this one down here. Look at that one. That one was closer to the ground, closer to the trunk of that tree there, as is that bigger one over there. I think that was closer to the trunk, closer to the roots. Takes longer for that end of the log or the tree to dry out. Especially if it's still connected partially after it's been chewed off by the beaver and then falls down. Still got some capillary action going up into the log near that break, chew, or whatever you want to call it. Really got some work to do there now, opposite direction, the east, southeast. Moving towards the barn now. The barn is about 40, 50 feet away. Turning up pretty good. I'm sure there'll be plenty of ends that won't get burned up. Because night's coming, and like I've said already a few times, we got some rain moving in. Maybe it won't end up being much rain, I don't know. Definitely got some good hot spots in there though. Kind of tricky being near it to grab some ends and throw them in, because the wind has been shifting quite a bit. And then when it shifts hard, blowing hard. I had to just close my eyes a few times, and fortunately I had a baseball cap type hat on. I was able to put the bill down in addition to my closed eyes, otherwise my eyelashes and eyebrows might have been gone. getting down there. Wind has been calmer. It's still a little shifty at times, but it doesn't shift as strong as it was before. I think got a couple of fronts colliding, and so there's some calm periods. I'll show you what little stuff, changes or additions we got going on in the barn there. Underneath this center section, I'll probably use to store hay and straw for bedding and grains for the animals, and the animal pens were around that. This probably had machine storage in it, but anyway, underneath here, you can see how that's built, just sitting on stones. So the plan is to remove the stones and put some flat concrete block under there, solid block, not cinder block, solid block. And remove those stones, and the stones I can use for retention, bank retention down by the creek there. But try to get this as square and level as it could possibly be anyway. And just the weight of this thing, I'll show you. It goes longer that way than this way. So the plan is that'll be like my anchor point before I start touching the other things in the barn. That'll be like my weight, and everything will be connected to there. Like I showed you in the past, how wonky donkey these walls are. The roof is actually lifted up too high in the middle, and the walls are sunk down in the middle. And that's how it is on both of the long sides of the barn. I'll show you this other side. You can see it's the same thing over there. For some reason they lifted up the center of the roof and got it off the walls, and or the ends sunk down. You think if the ends would sunk down, it would have put more pressure to bring this roof down heavier on the wall along the length of the wall. But you can see that there are some boards underneath here. That's probably why I say that is, because it's been propped up. These are solid here. This is solid. You can see how they scabbed in a whole bunch of junk up there. And then these uprights here, they're all solid. So maybe they wanted some curve to the roof for some reason. I don't know. But you can see how kittywampus that opening is over there. And this whole side over here is, this whole end of the barn, this whole gable end is just on an angle like this. You can see this horizontal piece here. You see the gaps in the uprights. You can see up there behind her, they just got a log up there. I don't even know what they were thinking with that log. There's the log. It's just braced with all kinds of just funky stuff. So anyway, I started to say this will be the anchor point, this center point. Once I get it leveled and setting on some concrete blocks. Underneath there was all kinds of just stuff thrown under there. The guy was Must have been just collecting all kinds of wood that he was gonna cut up to prop up vegetable plants, I guess. There was some vegetable operation going on over there on the other side of the creek. He had a couple of ponds that he was pumping water out of the creek to keep the ponds filled because it's so sandy soil here. He didn't clay line it or anything like that. So, but those ponds are gone. So yeah, I've been slowly just pulling stuff out from underneath there. And there was just all kinds of stuff under there. It's mostly cleared out now. Let's see if I can get you a shot of that. Magnum, what are you doing? Magnum, get out of the light. But that's what the underside of the center part of the barn looks like now. Mostly cleared out. It was just packed with stuff all the way up. You can see the light at the other end. That's where I've been carrying stuff from the garage down to that end of the barn and putting it in there for storage. That's that end over there. I'll show you that. But on the way over there, I'm going to show you these. I've gotten a couple more Cub Cadets. These aren't the International Harvester built ones. These are the MTD built ones, but that far one over there we bought used probably 5 years ago. It's been a good machine for us. So I bought another one, just like it, same model and everything. Guy actually delivered it for me, same price, didn't charge me any extra, and it was almost a 2-hour drive for him, I think, one way. He brought it to me. I didn't ask him to, but he wanted to get out of his way, I guess. And then this one came with a mower deck. The guy said the mower deck doesn't go to this machine though, and that's fine because I didn't want another mower. I didn't want a third mower. I just wanted this for pulling stuff around. That cart that's over there and the log splitter that's actually hooked to the other mower right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep this for like I don't know, like a side-by-side kind of thing to just pull stuff around. So we don't have to stop mowing to hook up a cart. Here they are. That'll be just the pulling. Pulling mean pulling a cart, not competition pulling. This is identical mower to this one. Magnum, come. Come on. UPS is here. Yeah, I had the dog out, so the UPS guy was a little leery of putting the package up on the porch. So I had to put the dog in. So yeah, we got this log splitter that we would need to move around, and this cart, that handle flips around and you can just hook it up to one of those mowers there. So that'll make life easier. Because I used to, at our old house, move this, a much smaller property of course, but I used to move that around by hand all the time, and that's getting old, as am I. That's just some little changes I want to show you. I'll show the other end where we saw that daylight underneath the center part of the barn. That was coming from this area right here. So I got that's the kind of concrete blocks I'll be putting under there. These cinder blocks I just have there for steps, but that's how I'm gonna support this whole center section, and I think will be 6 points where the stones are piled up. Maybe there's 8. Oh, 3, 6. Let's see, another spot here. Yep, there's some more stones right there. So it might be 8 or 9 places, so I'll have to put bricks. Actually, there's some more there. Holy cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 10, 15, maybe 15 spots. I'll have to look underneath better. It's not really good enough light right now. It was earlier, it was all sunny, but it's starting to rain now. This is a bat house that I brought from my other property that I built years ago, just out of whatever wood was left with that house when we bought that house. So that's going to go up on the barn. This tree is going to go. It's a pear tree. I mean, I'll trim off the dead part and maybe get fruit out of it for a year or 2. But yeah, it's too close to the barn for the bat house to work out. Then we have a purple martin house. So I'm going to put that purple martin house right there. It's an aluminum purple martin house. It's from Griggsville, Illinois. The purple martin capital of the country anyway. I don't know if it's the world, but they have an old antenna factory there that I'm not sure if they still make antennas, but they make the purple martin houses, aluminum, easy to clean out, all that stuff. They don't rot away. And they sell them at a gift shop on Main Street there in Griggsville, Illinois. And I got this extending telescoping pole for it and everything. There's a cat down there checking out my work. You see it by the base of that tree? Or is that a beaver? I'm pretty sure it's a cat. It's looking right at me. Let's see. There it is. At the base of that white tree. Yep, that's a cat. Okay. Still haven't seen any beaver. But that's where I was dragging stuff earlier today, all across here. Over to where I've been burning stuff. I started to explain earlier where this larger pond used to be. I thought I would maybe pile up those logs there, straighten out the creek, and let it flood this area here, even intermittently throughout the year, just for it to attract certain types of wildlife, of course, and then maybe put a deer feeder there, maybe some food plots on both sides of the creek. Once that's all mowed over there, bush hogged, get some food plots established on both sides, and then probably build like a deck or a cabin there where we can just watch the wildlife. Like I say, since we're in town, can't hunt it, so we're gonna watch it. Gonna hunt it with our cameras. So around here, I've been dragging the wood for doing the burning. Got some fruit trees started over here. There's just 4 of them. I think there's a couple of apple, a peach, and a nectarine. This is kind of my wife's doings here. I mean, I helped her plant it, of course, but I I've kind of turned over the gardening through the years to her, so this is what she wanted. So we got those 4 in. And then over on another part of the property on the north side. And this is January. This is January, I think, 16th today. So maybe 2 weeks ago, we planted all those arborvitaes over there along the property line over there. There's 20 of them. And they're small guys. In our other house, when we planted some arborvitaes, I think we bought 4-footers. Because there were so many we needed here, bigger property, we starting with smaller ones. Back here's our septic, where we had the septic emptied just as a maintenance thing, and I wanted to see for sure where the outlet was, so it would give me an idea where the field is, where we suspected the field to be, so that I know where I can put up a shop building. So the shop building's gonna go, I'm standing right behind the house now. That's the north side, that's the west side. That tree line is a horse pasture. See, there's a couple of white horses over there. If I can zoom in on, see them walking away. So, but, and I'm not sure if I've covered this in another video or not, but I talked to the neighbor who has the horse property, and he says that there was a barn behind the house here, and that they had it, they burned it, he said. Another time he said in the conversation, he said that they took it down. So I don't know what's back here. All I know is there's remnants of a wall right here. You can't see it now because the ground is so moist, but there's kind of a shadow. This soil is only maybe at the most 3 or 4 inches deep on top of the wall, and the wall goes all the way over. You can see it, kind of see a shadow now in the yard. So I'll turn around and pace it off. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 23. 23 times 3, maybe 60, 70 feet of a concrete wall. So it kind of affects, I was going to take this hill down a lot. Now I think I'll just kind of level it off, because it's higher back there towards the more brown grass. Kind of level, scrape it down, level, and pitch it that way towards the back fence. Put a swale along the back fence there that'll lead down to, one of my thoughts was down this sort of flat area here where they used to have a storage container. I thought I'd make a small pond here and then have an overflow down into this larger pond area here and bring back that larger pond. The whole purpose of the smaller pond here is to catch the silt and everything from that swale. And that would have to be cleaned out periodically, and it would be smaller, so it would be easier to clean out. This is kind of a clay soil here. And when we were planting those arborvitae, we dug down about a foot, foot and a half, sandy soil, and then we just got some real solid clay all along there. So I'm wondering if there's clay under here or if there's just rock. Rock meaning not gravel rock, but large rock, because I can see it sticking out in different parts of the property. Big rock. And as I've mentioned before, I believe somebody, local contractor, said he cleaned out this creek bed for the previous owner one time. He says it's all solid rock down there. I mean, like bedrock rock, not gravel rock. So that may be some issues up here. I know underneath, inside the barn, there's some large rock under there. So it's just going to be a process. It's not going to move as quickly as I would like it to move. I'd like a shop, in 6 months from now. But we got our storage units from 4 units. These are 10 by 15 units. Down to from 4 till 2. And my wife and I were there the other day, kind of I-spying it out how we were going to get it down to 1. And I think we got it figured out. We'll have to have it down to 1 unit until the shop gets built. That's the plan, Stan. But this is how burned down the fire has gotten. It was 6 feet tall when we started. Now it's down to, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet maybe. It's sprinkling a little bit. Not enough to slow the fire down. But yeah, that's the plans.